and we were just about to leave. So we got to that intersection right there, and as we got to that intersection, they just started shooting. Everybody was like split. Like it was half the people right here in the crowd that we walked through, and then it was half the people in the parking lot. I mean, I looked back and everybody started running, but that was about it. After I looked back and everybody started running and I already heard them as I was leaving, I just kept going.
At this point, I'm sure that most of you, if not all of you, have heard about the shooting that took place at Virginia State University this week during their welcome week. For those of you who don't know, there were 2 individuals who were on the campus, and there were 4 individuals who were shot. The good news is it seems as if all victims will survive from their gunshot wounds, and the 2 suspects have been arrested. Virginia State has made it clear that no one involved was currently enrolled in the school, and the 2 suspects, both who are, by the way, 21 years old, very young, have been arrested. I'm going to put football to the side for a second, and we're going to talk about a very serious issue, something that I have been raising the alarms about for some time now, and that's simply this. And I take no pride in saying this. I'm just looking at the tea leaves and seeing where things are going, and this is the conclusion, the logical conclusion that I've drawn, and that's this. You are going to see a lot more violent crime and gun violence surrounding HBCUs. Not just at homecoming, although that is going to go up and increase. We've already seen some of that. Overall, is what I'm saying. Overall, you're going to see basically the HBCU campus at a certain point is going to start to reflect other parts of the community. That's what's going to happen for several different reasons. Reason number 1, and I talked about this on Twitter. Reason number 1, many of us in the community have adopted this dangerous sense of what it means to be a masculine black man. We're getting all these images from the music, from television, from film, from quote-unquote gangsters and all these kinds of things. And so many black men, even those of us who are educated, those of us who are older, those of us who were never involved in any street activity, many of us still identify with a certain representation of black masculinity. And we think that the most effective, the strongest, the most impressive, the most effective type of black masculinity involves over-the-top bravado and an inclination to engage in violent acts in order to prove oneself as a man. That has become the overwhelming, dominant view of what it means to be a masculine black man. Anything that's seen as disrespect, you got to meet it head on with violence. That's what makes you a masculine man. And once again, that is becoming the overall acceptable view of black masculinity. Like, this is not like a fringe thing. This is not a thing where certain people over here believe this, but no, this is becoming commonplace across once again, no matter how educated you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter what your involvement in the streets was or ever was. We're seeing more and more young men and adult men, 30 plus, who lived a certain type of life, putting on this certain type of persona because they've been led to believe that this is real black masculinity. That's one issue. The second issue is this. At a certain point, we just got to talk about proximity, right? A lot of schools, a lot of HBCUs are very close or right in the middle of some pretty rough and tough areas. Like, for example, you take Howard University. Howard University is one of the top HBCUs that we have. Top 2, top 3. One of the biggest brands, the biggest names. It's very expensive to go there. Thousands of black people enroll in that school every single semester. And trust me, it costs a whole lot of money. Don't ask me how I know, but I know it costs a lot. Out of state, 30,000 a year, right? So anyway, there's that, but in the backdrop of that is our community surrounding the school of people who don't got it like that. And so you got to think about that. You have these affluent, well-to-do, in a lot of cases, two-parent households, nice cars, nice clothes, designer outfits, chasing their dreams, living their best life, having a good time. Young black folk in a cocoon, and around it, in a lot of cases, are people who are not in a position to where they can chase their dreams like the students at Howard are. That's going to bring in some issues, right? If I'm sitting over here and I'm starving and I look over at you and you got lobster and crab and shrimp and pasta, and I'm going to have a problem with that. That also combines with the first issue because mind you, you got communities of people who don't have stuff watching those come in, especially from out of town, who do. Then on top of that, the people on the campus and the people off the campus have both embraced this toxic view of what masculinity is. It's man, it's a lot. Then you got to throw on top of their survivor's remorse. So you got the young brother or the young sister, they go off to college. They get a scholarship, or they get good grades, or they take out a loan, or they play a sport, or they got an academic scholarship, or maybe they had good parents and their parents saved up some money for them, or they're doing work study and so they're in college. But they got friends and people that they know and grew up with that didn't get to go, or at least haven't found the opportunity to go yet. But what happens? You're 18, 19 years old. The people you grew up with, those are still your very close friends. So you're inviting them to homecoming. You're inviting them to football games. You're inviting them to come up to your dorms. You're bringing home to the campus because you made it and you want to show everybody, hey, look, come on over here. Let me show you something. Let me show you some other stuff. So once again, we got to combine all three of these things together. You got the survivor's remorse combined with the negative view of what black masculinity is, combined with the proximity to the campus, combined with people who don't have opportunity, next door neighbors to people who seem as if they got all the opportunity. You put all that together, it's going to be problems. It's going to be problems. But perhaps the biggest issue of all is simply just the neglect or the unaddressed issues in many black communities. Because if we're going to be 100% honest, if we're going to keep it all the way real, the amount of young people who have been losing their lives for nothing in urban environments, it has become normal. Like, we're at a point now, if a 17-year-old kills another 17-year-old, nobody goes, man, they hadn't even finished high school. What are they doing? It's become normal now. Nowadays, if a shooting happens in broad daylight, nobody goes, in broad daylight? No, broad daylight shootings have become normal now. Now, if you see a group of 10, 15 kids loud and crazy and stealing from stores and jumping on people and disturbing the peace, nobody goes, man, where are they? No, it's become normal now. Sadly, if innocent men, women, and children, including infants, wind up catching a bullet just because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, nobody goes, man, I can't believe that. No, that's become normal now. So a certain amount of violence has become normal in the community. And you don't think that eventually it's going to spill over onto HBCU campuses? Why wouldn't it? I mean, seriously, why would it not? If you have been paying attention, the issues that have taken place in urban environments have already transitioned over to black middle class environments. That's been going on for the past 15 years, right? Where you'll see a quote unquote black suburb, and you fast forward a decade, and the schools have fallen down, not as good as they used to be. The violence is up, the broken homes are up, business opportunities are down, safety is down. If you don't believe me, I can give you two examples right off the top of my head. Prince George's County. While there are still a whole lot of people doing well financially in Prince George's County, Prince George's County is not nearly what it was 10 years ago. The amount of violence, gun violence, people losing their lives in Prince George's County has become worse and worse as years have went on. The amount of broken homes in Prince George's County has become worse and worse as things have gone on. The reading and math proficiency and test scores in Prince George's County has gotten worse and worse as years have went on. And this didn't just happen in Prince George's County. If you go to an area I'm very familiar with, Baltimore County. We all know about Baltimore City and the issues that Baltimore City had. But I'd say 10, 15 years ago, there were certain parts of Baltimore County that were largely black, that were black suburbs. Look at Baltimore County today compared to where it was in 2005. Same thing happened. Schools went down over time, crime went up over time, broken family numbers went up over time, safety went down over time. And so if you've been paying attention, it has become very clear that unaddressed issues in one segment of society is spilling over into the rest of society, and is going to continue to do so until it is addressed. Yeah, this is not a problem where you could just move away. It's not a problem where you can ignore it. It's not a problem where you can just talk and point it to death. It has to be addressed, or it's going to continue to get worse. We've already had several issues over the last few years at homecomings, of shootings, of people losing their life. Now we had this issue right now. Virginia State had Welcome Week. Classes haven't even started yet. This is already happening. The idea that you're going to have all these issues in urban environments, and then those issues are going to spill over to black middle-class communities and take those communities over, but there's not going to have an impact on HBCU campuses, that's an illogical thought to have. Of course it's going to show up on the campus. Of course it is. We have got to get more involved with the youth. The youth is the future. You are not going to be able to protect your institution or your neighborhood or your community or your kids, your nieces and nephews, by ignoring this problem. It's not going to work like that. We need a whole lot more mentoring, not just for sports, but for life. We need to do a lot more community outreach, not just to recruit you to the school, but just so you can have a better life. And also, as college campuses, because here's another issue, our higher learning institutions has to be more mindful of some of the things that they do. Like, for example, on the one hand, we'll get upset and we'll, call out when certain things happen on campus. But if you go to any sporting event, you go to any concert, you go to homecoming, some of the same people who made a living and made a career out of promoting all of this negative, violent behavior, we're going to play their songs at games, and we're going to have them at homecoming. Like, I want you to pay attention to all the different homecoming lineups that you see. when all these homecoming flyers come out. And watch how many people are going to be invited to campus that are rapping about drugs and violence and street stuff. So we're inviting these people to campus and paying them to perform at the biggest event that our campus has every year. That's who we're bringing in. But then if something bad happens, we're going, oh, we don't condone this. Well, are you sure? Because I'm looking at your homecoming lineup, and it seems like, so once again, I'm here to ring the alarm, because a lot of us are in la la land. But the fact of the matter is, once again, you are going to see a rise in violent crime on HBCU campuses. And it's not just going to be outsiders. And it brings me no joy to say this, but I'm just looking at how things have been going. And if you're paying attention, it is very clear and very obvious that safety on HBCU campuses is going to be a problem in the very near future. That's going to happen, just like it's been a problem in Prince George's County over the past 10, 15 years. The same thing is going to happen on HBCU campuses. There's nothing you can do to insulate yourself from what's going on in the community at large. So I just be mindful of that.